Illuminati Peep wants you to like and subscribe right now, or he will make you disappear from Earth. In 1996, Ukraine handed over nuclear weapons to Russia in exchange for a guarantee never to be treated again. Members of the UN Council walking out on the speech of Russia's Minister of Foreign Affairs. This Ukrainian couple got married just hours after Russia launched its invasion of their country. They spent their first day of marriage collecting rifles and getting ready to defend their country. Russian Spetsnaz, special forces, saboteurs dressed in Ukrainian uniforms captured in Nikopol, Ukraine. Under Geneva Convention, they are eligible for section. In Kyiv, a guy just kept his normal routine and went for a bike ride surrounded by tanks. Lviv-based Pravda brewery switches from making beer to making Molotov cocktails. The brewery announced the plans after Ukraine's defense ministry instructed civilians to make Molotov cocktails to resist invading Russian forces. The label says Putin is a nuthead. Latvian news anchor's sweater says, Russian warship go duck yourself. Civilians hold rifles during a military drill in Siyut in western Ukraine. Ukrainian Jewish soldiers, father and son, in morning prayer. Ukraine's former First Lady, Marina Poroshenko, serving food to Ukrainian volunteers. Romanians are welcoming the Ukrainian refugees with open arms and food. There are a lot of people who are renting their homes without any charge to the refugees. Also, there is an animal shelter who is going to host the Ukrainian pets of any kind. Proud moment to be a Romanian. Ukraine soldiers wearing sunflowers in their hair. Sunflowers are the national flower of Ukraine. Russian anti-war protesters arrested, spent 16 hours in detention, and decided to take a photo. A lone protester supporting Ukraine and China. I stand with Ukraine. Russian kids being arrested for protesting against war. The convoy with the ammunition that we hand over to Ukraine has already reached our neighbors. We support Ukrainians, we stand in solidarity, and we firmly oppose Russian aggression. The Ukrainian army has captured an abandoned Russian TOS-1A thermobaric multiple rocket launcher. Seen at the Wailing Wall, Jerusalem. Just an average walkway in Ukraine now. Russians are now intentionally bombing civilian districts in Kharkiv. Police absurdly surrounded peaceful anti-Putin protesters in January 2021 in Krasnoyarsk, Russia. Can we stop the war? Please. If Russia stops fighting, there will be no war. If Ukraine stops fighting, there will be no more Ukraine. Second round of talks begin between Ukrainian and Russian representatives. CEO of Valve, Gabe Newell, personally delivered their new handheld PC to people living near Valve HQ. Satellite company Maxa says the latest photos from Ukraine show a Russian military convoy more than 5 kilometers long on its way to Kyiv. The convoy consists of, among other things, tanks and fuel supplies, and is about 40 kilometers from the capital. This is Stanislav Petrov. He prevented nuclear war by realizing the USSR's missile early warning system malfunctioned when it incited that 5 missiles were headed for Russia on the 26th of September 1983 and refusing to fire a counterattack. Former Ukrainian President Poroshenko has grabbed arms and decided to join the Ukrainian army to fight off Russian forces. steel workers in Volhynia are making hedgehogs to block the Russian advances. These are very effective at disabling the tank tracks, and ironically these were invented by the Soviet Union in World War II. 500,000 people have come together in Berlin to protest against the war in Ukraine. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has signed an application for the membership of Ukraine in the European Union, announces Parliament of Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky having dinner with his parents a while back. Ukraine just confirmed that the Antonov An-225 Mirror, the biggest cargo plane ever built, has been destroyed a few hours ago. Before and after pictures of the same residential area after the invasion. Thieves and looters, who take advantage of the war in Ukraine, are caught and fixed in the middle of the bombed cities. Thousands of Romanians have been waiting in their personal vehicles to pick up refugees at one of the northeast borders with Ukraine. I cremate your loved ones with extreme care, dignity, and the utmost respect. For you that might wonder, this is what the inside of a cremation chamber looks like. The Ukrainians have taken out another tank near Kharkiv. In 2006, Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned in London with radioactive tea laced with polonium. He had been a critic of the Putin regime. Nobody has been brought to justice for his murder. Tbilisi, Georgia rally in support of Ukraine. Downtown Kharkiv before and after Russian strikes. Starlink terminals have arrived in Ukraine. High-speed internet now available, without the potential of Russia taking down communications. Free stay for Ukrainian refugees in Romania's Hotel Mandaci. Local entrepreneur Stefan Mandaci has offered them all rooms in his entire hotel, with one free meal a day. Ukrainians with pets will be given priority. Russian convoy of ground forces, tanks moving in the direction of the Ukrainian capital Kyiv from approximately 15 miles, 25 kilometers, away. Statue of Putin outside the Russian embassy in Poland. President Zelensky of Ukraine inaugurated with Cossack Warhammer/Belor. Hiroshima, Japan after nuclear attack. Servicemen of the Ukrainian National Guard take positions in central Kyiv, Ukraine. History. Europe has never been so united. Berlin. Soviet monument in Bulgaria are painted to Ukraine flag. I took this picture yesterday and more of it changes every day. Protesters created a mock-up of Putin's Time Person of the Year 2007 magazine, depicting him as hodler, Person of the Year, Time. Orphans are hiding in a basement Kropivnitsky, Ukraine. Tiananmen Square before the crackdown. In empty Ukrainian stores, people are leaving money in fridges instead of taking products for free. Kyiv this morning. Truly heartbreaking. Ambula War Tower, Sri Lanka. This is Valentina Konstantinovska. She is a 79-year-old great-grandmother from Ukraine. She is currently training to protect her family with an AK-4. This baby was born a few hours ago in the Kyiv subway, where Ukrainian people are hiding from Russian bombs. My teacher, from Finland, got our whole town together to gather supplies for the people escaping from Ukraine to Poland. will be driving 9 full-size trucks with the supplies from Finland to Poland next Saturday. The supplies include warm blankets, clothes, sleeping bags etc. and heaps of pet food. A line of Russian citizens waiting to withdraw at a bank. The ruble is now worth less than 1 cent. The picture of the Japanese movie advertisement is printed on 2 sides of the newspaper, so the full picture could be seen under light. In Lviv, Ukraine, Putin's picture is regularly melded with an image of Hitler and printed onto products for locals to urinate and wipe their bottoms on his face. Putin Hulo. Ukraine Guide. How to throw Molotov cocktail correctly at different kinds of armored vehicles. A Ukrainian couple, Yarina Ravigat and Sviatoslav Fursin, getting married on the first day of the Russo-Ukrainian war in the capital Kyiv amid air raid sirens. Empire State Light theme supporting Ukraine today from New York, USA. Ukraine has been removing street signs to confuse Russian soldiers. The digital signs read, "Go duck yourselves." In 2018, activists painted a crick on the People's Friendship Arc, a monument that represented the friendship between the Soviet Union and Ukraine. The largest demonstration in the modern history of Estonia took place in support of Ukraine. We will win. You are our hearts. Ukrainian service members unpack Javelin anti-tank missiles, delivered by plane as part of the US military support package for Ukraine, at the Boryspil International Airport outside Kyiv, Ukraine, February 10, 2022. I live in a city with the last remaining active tank plant in the US. In my lifetime I have never seen this amount of tanks being transported. Tanks on the move through Lima, Ohio. These billboards saying Russian warship go duck yourself. Man buried in snow films a rescue dog saving him. The Interstate Highway Network. I had no idea it was laid out in such a logical grid. Dog's paw print in a 270 plus years old brick. Fort Christiansvern, St. Croix, built in 1752. The first simulated image of a black hole, calculated with an IBM 7040 computer using 1960 punch cards and hand plotted by French astrophysicist Jean-Pierre Luminat in 1978. 250,000 people took part in a peace demonstration in Cologne/Germany today. Usually at this time people in Cologne celebrate Carnival. Due to the current situation, they decided to hold a urge peace demonstration instead. In my grandparents' basement I found a world atlas from 125 years ago, Kosenshall Atlas. The gateway to heaven in Denmark. I don't know if it belongs here, but thought of sharing this considering the recent events. Coral-shaped rock captured by Curiosity rover released today. Lithuanians donated 50 trucks of warm clothes, shoes, sleeping bags etc. for Ukrainian refugees in one day, and Lithuanian Red Cross had to stop collecting the aid because amount of aid exceeded expectations. A different angle to Volodymyr Zelensky's speech. This cool Star Wars bedroom setup. Russian military has dropped all pretense, bombs civilian buildings in Kharkiv. Located in Prague, this 600-year-old clock is the world's oldest astrological clock that is still operational. I had never seen an image of this before. Bull Rock Island 9 kilometers from County Cork. This is how a sealed subway station looked like in Kyiv. The Soviets designed them as potential nuclear war vaults. Now they protect Ukrainians from the new Soviets. 250,000 people are demonstrating in Cologne today against Putin's war. Bologna, Italy. Supporters rally to donate and express disagreement on the invasion of Ukraine. Sunset in the Maldives. Close-up of an eyeball looks like a creepy forest. This is Lutsk, my hometown in the west of Ukraine. Our public transport show this to everyone. Russian warship, go duck yourself. Kyiv, Ukraine. February 2022. Photo by Alexei Kirichenko. Police detains an anti-war demonstrator in St. Petersburg, Russia. Missile hits Ukrainian home but didn't explode. Berlin asks for peace and not war. Bones when wearing a high-heeled shoe. Disney street painter's work. This is a statue in Cologne, Germany, that was erected during the protests against Putin. It shows him trying to force the Ukraine into the Soviet Union. In the 1960s, the Swiss railways used flamethrowers for de-icing. Ukrainian civilians prepare Molotov cocktails to defend their homes from invading Russian forces. These are hover marks on poles, drawn by Russian scouts. Painting over ramming marks does not help. They are still visible in the ultraviolet. The tallest tree in Wales got damaged by a storm and was supposed to be cut down. Instead, chainsaw artist Simon O'Rourke found a better solution to symbolize the tree's last attempt to reach the sky. Women preparing Molotov cocktails in Ireland 1969 and Ukraine now. Earth is seen from Saturn 898 million miles 1.44 billion kilometers away. Helmcken Falls is a 141-meter waterfall on the Myrtle River within Wells Grey Provincial Park in British Columbia, Canada. The protection of Helmcken Falls was one of the reasons for the creation of Wells Grey Provincial Park in 1939. Stockport, England right now. Press secretary of the opposition party and his wife in police custody. Former heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali leans out of the window on the 9th floor of a high-rise and talks with a Cecil man who treat him to jump. Ali managed to talk him out of it. January 19, 1981. The size difference between the mushroom clouds of Fat Man dropped in Hiroshima, 1945, and the Soviet Tsar bomber tested in 1961. Bunker buster. Hiroshima. Trinity. Mike. Bravo. Tsar bomber. Soviet. Russia uses military decoys, inflatables, in order to make their military appear stronger than it actually is. This tactic was also used by the Ghost Army in World War III. Queen Mary 2 and her captain. Another side of moon. The side we can't see. The side we can see. The opposition in the Argentinian Congress put the Ukrainian flags on the benches, opposing the official government response to Russia. Green Tower in Tirana, Albania changes its colors for the first time ever to the Ukrainian flag colors. A dragon sculpted by the artist Marco Martella, located on top of the Alpsimbra mountain in Laverone. The sculpture named Dragon Valia will have required 1 month of work. It is made of wood from hundreds of trees destroyed by the Valia storm. Abandoned by the world and destroyed, Syrians still go out of their way to show compassion for Ukraine. Ireland's parliament leans to house lit up tonight in the Ukrainian colors. The people of Ireland stand in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Volunteers work to make Molotovs in a Kyiv basement to fight against Russia intruders. Antonov An-25 Mriya, the world's biggest airplane as of now. Made from 100% wool. A monument in Denver, Colorado to the Hungarian uprising against the Russian Soviet occupation, in memory of the 1956 Hungarian uprising. My wife found a 6-leaf clover. Armed residents patrolling the streets of Kyiv, Ukraine. With Russian troops on the outskirts, the Ukrainian government has distributed thousands of firearms to civilian volunteers. Tuzla Bank in Bosnia. Karen Keeler, 1955 Miss Atomic Energy, touching her winnings, which included a truckload of uranium ore, 11.2 tons, worth $523.54 at the time. The pageant was hosted by Grand Junction, Colorado, USA, then the center of the country's uranium mining and production. In the 1950s, baby cots were attached to the overhead luggage locker and used to hold babies during airplane flights. Molotov cocktails. Typical day in Ukraine. Big Bertha is the oldest cow to have lived. She died just 3 months short of her 49th birthday. In her lifetime, she managed to have 39 calves and helped raise thousands of euros for charity. Railroad bridge built entirely of stacked logs. Oregon, 1903. Russian T-72B3 tank flying Soviet banner during the invasion of Ukraine. Saw this hot rod golf cart. Jean Calment on her 121st birthday on the 21st of February 1996. She would go on to live one more year, dying in 1997 at age 122 years 164 days, and is the oldest person ever. Chechen forces are sent to Ukraine from the territory of Belarus. A nano-injector. A microscopic machine used to inject DNA in cells. I didn't know hummingbirds take bird baths in bushes. Walking out to my patio with my 600mm lens, and while it was lightly raining I saw a female Anna's hummingbird bathing in the rain. It was using the wet leaves to clean itself.